Hey guys, this is Pops. How y'all doing? That's not Pops. This is Pops. This is a book. And this is a book called Spinky, that's the boy's name, Sulks. Do you know what sulking is? That's when you're upset and you don't get over it. But you just get mad and you stay mad and you're sad and you want people to know how upset you are, and so you just frown. And Spinky, he is sulking. He's upset about something. Let's see what's wrong. So here's Spinky and his sister, and they're arguing. Look at him, he's not happy. And there's Spinky and his brother, and they're arguing, and they're not happy. And there's Spinky, and his dad is saying something to him, probably that you shouldn't argue with your brother and sister so much. And here's Spinky, and he's upset, and he walks outside into the front yard. And that's where the book starts. And it says, Spinky came charging out of the house and threw himself down on the grass. He couldn't even see the dandelions he was staring at. He was so upset. His family, they were supposed to love him, but they don't. Not even his mother. Wow. He must be angry to say something like that. And, oh wait, here we go. In a while, his sister, Wilhelmina, she came out and she said, "I'm sorry I called you Stinky Spinky." Well, that wasn't very nice. She called him Stinky. Spinkalink, listen, I apologize. And Spinky, he didn't answer, so she went back inside. Now she apologizes, he said. A little later, Spinky's brother, Hitch, came out and touched him with his finger, and Spinky shook it off. "You were positively right," Hitch said. "I looked it up. Philadelphia is the capital of Belgium." Oh, wow, that's not even right. His brother's just trying to say that to make him feel better. Spinky turned his back away. His brother's slimy voice was more than he could bear. "Spinks, it's lunchtime," said Hitch. "Mama wants you in the house." Whoa, Spinky's mad. And so, hang on, let's try to guess where we can see this. Instead of answering Spinky, he went and climbed a big tree. Look at him sitting there in the big tree. And so, his parents were watching from the window. Poor kid, he's so sensitive. "I better go talk to him, Harry," that's what his mom said. "Ruby, don't," his father said. "He needs to simmer down. He's got no reason to sulk." When it started getting dark, Spinky's mom came outside and she kissed him over and over, and she told him she loved him with all her heart ever since the minute he was born, and even before that. And she covered him with a blanket and kissed him again, and it was no fake kiss. But Spinky just lay there like a stone. He wasn't interested in kisses that came too late. Wow, he's really mad. The next morning, when Spinky's father left for work, Spinky was nowhere in sight. Oh, wait a minute. Where was he? Look at that. Hiding around the corner. Spinky. Ha! 2 seconds later, he was in the back of the house kicking a can. "Some father," he snorted. At noon, Spinky's mother brought him a tray. Spinky didn't even look at her. All of a sudden, they're being nice, he thought. Wow, he should just forgive them, right? Sometimes people don't, though. They just get mad and they want to stay mad. When the mother came back, she took the tomato soup and the asparagus and the crullers, and the crullers are donuts, and the grapes, and went back in the house. Hitch and Wilhelmina kept finding Spinky in different places. They try to get him to say something sometimes. Sometimes they just pass by. Hitch got down on his knees and begged to be forgiven for anything he'd ever done. This only made Spinky more angry. What a terrible thing. That's not good to not forgive people. Spinky's mother sat with him and held his hand, but his arm hung down like a noodle. Wilhelmina picked some daisies and stuck them in the hammock, and Spinky threw them out. Oh boy, he's really mad. What's this? What is this? Around 4 o'clock, a circus parade came marching by. Look, Spinky! His mother cried, clowns! Elephants! But he wouldn't even glance in their direction. What a family. First they ruined my life, and now they want me to watch a parade? Those are ugly things he's saying. Spinky's best buddies, Smudge and Iggy, came to visit. Smudge crawled in the hammock and whispered goofy things in Spinky's ear. Spinky kicked them out. Smudge and Iggy tried to swing him, and Spinky usually liked that, but not now. He wrapped himself up in the hammock and disappeared. So his friends took off. That evening, Spinky's father gave him a long lecture. He said, even though Spinky was wrong to sulk like a baby, everyone still loved him anyway. In fact, maybe he didn't realize it, but he was one of the most popular of the 3 children. Spinky had to cover his ears to avoid listening to this. No one seemed to understand that he was a person with his own private thoughts and feelings they couldn't appreciate. The world was against him, so he was against the world, and that included all living things, except, of course, the animals. Spinky's family worried. They couldn't stand to see him feeling so terribly, and that night they had a conference. Spinky's father made a couple of phone calls. The next day was a holiday. The sun was shining and the birds were happy. Spinky couldn't care less. He lay in his hammock like a pile of laundry. His favorite grandma just happened to stop by with some of his favorite candy, and she gave him a big fat hug. But Spinky went limp in her arms. After all, she belonged to the family, and the family wasn't being nice to him. Whoa. Now what? Just then a circus clown happened to come prancing across the lawn with a sign saying, "We love you, Spinky." The clown winked and reached into Spinky's pocket and pulled out a triple dip ice cream cone with pistachio and banana and chocolate chip. Spinky had to laugh, but then he saw his father smiling, and he got the picture. The clown had been hired to cheer him up. Well, that's not gonna work. All day long, everybody was as sweet and considerate as they could be. When it started to rain, Spinky's mother covered him with a tarp, and his father set up the beach umbrella. Hitch and Wilhelmina served him cake and sandwiches, and still, Spinky, he couldn't give in, though he was beginning to consider it. Maybe these people didn't know how to behave, but at least they were trying. Was it their fault they couldn't do any better? He wasn't mad anymore, but he had his pride, After all his suffering, how could he just turn around and be all lovey-dovey? That wasn't his way. Spinky lay awake, wondering how to give in and still keep his self-respect. He decided he would take them by surprise. Before dawn, he sneaked in the house and tiptoed around, very busy with secret business. In the morning, the whole family came down to the dining room, and they were all so sad until they saw that laid out before them was a splendiferous feast, and there, at the end of the table, stood a garish clown, inviting them to join in. Of course, they knew who it was, and they laughed so hard. It was a long time before they could stop. Who do you think that is? I know who it is. After that, Spinky's family was much more careful about his feelings. Too bad they couldn't keep it up forever. The end. Well, maybe Spinky needs to grow up a little bit. But sometimes people do sulk. They get mad and they don't want to get over it. And even if people try to make up with them, they don't want to. And then after they want to, they're so proud that they feel embarrassed to make up, and they still keep in conflict even though they're really not mad anymore. Now it's just kind of pride. But families matter, and your brothers and sisters matter, and it's really sweet to get along. And so, if you get mad, and if you sulk, and then you think about it, and you realize you were wrong, you just have to suck up that old pride and throw it away and go back to being happy again with everybody. Because people aren't perfect. Spinky's family was really nice, weren't they? Probably nicer than Pop's would have been. Ask your dad if you don't believe that.